When new technologies disrupt a particular economic sector, very often there are innovations around the financing that boost the adoption rate of that technology. And so, for example, you saw with smartphones when telecommunications companies allowed consumers to pay off the more expensive phones over 2 to 3 years, that really led to the skyrocketing adoption rate of smartphones. And I've been waiting for something to start to appear in the electric vehicle space, and now we're starting to see some innovation. So I'm going to talk to Frans Tjallingii, who is the CEO of 7 Generations Capital, a Vancouver-based specialty startup, and they offer a turnkey solution to transition corporate fleets to electric. So welcome to the interview, Frans.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be here.
Look, can you explain, please, what EV as a service is?
Well, it's primarily to help fleet operators transition faster and more ease by bringing them knowledge. Like we focus on medium and heavy duty vehicles, coming at it from a vehicle perspective. So really helping them understand what it means to integrate electric vehicles within their fleet for their operations. And then we bring a whole turnkey solution to them in terms of installing chargers, purchasing the vehicles, making sure it all works together, works for their operations, and then also bringing in the financing so that it's a whole package that ultimately they end up paying a 1 monthly bill.
Yeah, I've had some feedback from experts in the commercial EV space, who talk about how that's real, especially medium duty, like delivery vans, that sort of thing, really, really well suited to electric. But there's a lot to consider. I mean, you have to put in the charging infrastructure. You maybe have to train some staff. You have, there's a question of capital cost because it's a little more expensive than internal combustion engine vehicles, that kind of thing. So what's been the response from the marketplace, from customers to your offering?
Yeah, I think most fleet operators are somewhat hesitant to adopt new technology, and that's where we help them by really modeling out how it would mean from a total cost of operating perspective within their fleets. So for those applications that you mentioned, so last mile, garbage collection, school buses, there is a number of applications where it makes sense from an operational perspective, and then we help understand the financial implications of it, right? So it's really trying to make sure that you get the subsidies that are available to you, because it really helps your financial model. And then also being able to finance over longer time periods and finding integrated solutions that integrate both the charger and the vehicle. So in general today, if you look at sort of for which fleet operators does it make sense to look at this, it's really those that return to base, have relatively predictable routes. They're around 200, 250 kilometers in a daytime. Right, for those fleets, it really makes sense to look at it, especially if they're in those provinces where there are some subsidies available or other incentives that might be available.
So if I'm a fleet operator and I hire your company to come in and do a project, am I giving you a one payment a month kind of arrangement? Am I leasing it? Am I buying it? What am I getting here? Maybe you could explain some of the nitty gritty, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, we have some flexibility related to how fleet operators normally finance their vehicles or how they normally want to operate. But in our basic offering is you pay 1 monthly bill, right? So basically you lease the equipment, so chargers and vehicles, all inclusive, over a period from us. And we provide the maintenance on the chargers and things like that.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. So now you're based in Vancouver. Where are you finding the most interest? Is it in Canada? Is it in the US? Where are your customers located?
Yeah, so we have a team in Montreal as well, and we're now adding people in Alberta as well as in Toronto. So we're still very much Canada focused, and our primary markets in Canada are BC and Quebec, and that is subsidy driven, but we'd expect that to change quite rapidly with carbon pricing and a lot of other things coming down the pike quickly. We are active in the US, but more on a case-by-case basis so far. But we intend to expand that over the coming year to be more active coast to coast in the US as well.
Now, I would think that a market like California would be ideal for you because they've just put in a medium and heavy duty vehicle mandate. And so that makes, I mean, both the commercial fleet managers would be interested, but also the companies that want to sell those kind of vehicles will be looking to bring as much assistance to their potential customers as they can. Is that likely to be the case?
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And our strategy is that we will follow our current customers into those markets and then expand from there. Like California market has been more active than Canada, and there are more people that do parts of what we do, maybe not exactly the same package as we offer. But that's why it makes sense for us to ensure that we have a strong home market, which is Canada, and then follow our customers into those strategic markets.
Now, I couldn't help but notice when you said that you were setting up a team in Alberta, because the oil producing provinces as a rule tend to be a little more resistant to this kind of electrification of transportation. So tell us a little bit about the experience in Alberta and the interest from potential customers.
Yeah, the interest there is primarily from oil and gas companies, mining companies, and others that have a strong need to decarbonize their operations first, right? So there is strong pressure for them to act. So we've seen some opportunities that we intend to pursue in that field.
Well, that's very interesting. And now I interview electric vehicle analysts like Bloomberg NEF and battery experts and so on. And everybody tells me that the price of batteries is going to drop, 2024, 2025. We're going to see new chemistries, solid state, that sort of thing. So are you setting up, anticipating that, mid-decade is when this is really going to take off?
It's all to do, like it's already starting to take off, right? Like we see production ramping up very quickly, right? Like with large investments in production capacity. I think the demand is often already there, although it's still hard to get moving and it's still small. But once that production ramps up, those new technologies flow in. Yeah, and Bloomberg New Energies, Deloitte, and a few others predict that by 2025 there should be some kind of price parity, maybe on a total cost of operating basis without subsidies. So at this moment, it's a bit more reliant on subsidies, to be able to have government support to be able to get that ball rolling. But it's really an ecosystem that has to be kickstarted, right? So we see this ecosystem kickstarting now with subsidies, and over the coming number of years, we'll see subsidies tapering down. We'll see production increasing. We'll see prices decline, and we'll see, those things coming together.
Now, you mentioned a few of the markets for this. So garbage trucks, so especially big cities, I would imagine, like Vancouver, Burnaby, and so on, want to switch over to electric. And we talked a little bit about delivery vans, and you see Amazon putting in an order for 100,000 delivery vans. So that's becoming more common. What are some of the market niches here that we, might not think of when we're thinking about commercial electric vehicles?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting ones, right? Like, so things like Zambonis pop up. Like, it's not something that we have done a deal on yet, but street cleaning equipment, operations in container terminals. There's a lot of areas where the fleet characteristics might be very suitable for electrification, and it's very fascinating. It's really about searching those niches where with today's technology, you can already set a few steps, right? Because ultimately it is about operational efficiency and trying to get people to lower cost of maintenance, lower fuel and energy consumption, while also going zero emission, right? So it's trying to help fleet operators where there is technology available today, make sure it gets implemented where it makes sense for those fleet operators.
Well, Frans, good luck with this business model. It sounds really exciting to me. And thank you very much for your insights.
Yeah, my pleasure.